after almost 2 years since getting called out for her shady behavior towards her sister, LaTocha Scott is still out here playing victim, and people is tired of the lack of accountability. Because it's so reminiscent of what happened back in 2023, when all that she and Rocky had done was exposed, and instead of coming out and apologizing, owning up, and trying to rectify the situation, LaTocha went on IG Live and blamed everybody and they mama, which forced her sister Tamika and the other ladies of Xscape to come out with the receipts that proved everything. And it looks like history is repeating itself, because that's just what happened this week after LaTocha released her own verse for Chris Brown's Residual verse challenge. Because not only did the brat reach out to Tamika during the Ricky Smiley morning show the very next day, but Vibe magazine caught up with Candy at an Essence event, and the two ladies ended up letting everybody know that LaTocha's whole verse was just another scheme that Todd set up.
Is this on?
Now, as soon as she hit that mic and did that "is this thing on?", it seemed like it was gonna be on that phony type-ish. But the level of gaslighting that took place in this song is on a new level. LaTocha starts off trying to gain sympathy by singing about her marital issues with her husband and comments about him allegedly having a baby on her. Then says she don't know who's lying. Maybe she was blind and how she had to give up on love. And Love is like,
now why am I in it?
And you could have did it.
See how I get thrown in
because you never apologized.
because who in the world thinks Love had anything to do with this?
So this ain't stealing.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
Rocky is the type of man that you can just look at and tell what type of time he's on. But for LaTocha to have been with this man for 30 years and act like she couldn't see his character, it's either given somebody used to be in the classroom with only 4 other kids and 2 teachers, or they think they nickel slick. LaTocha then brings in the "of course I miss my sister" and how we all know family drama takes some healing, trying to act like she wasn't the one who got called out for doing Tamika wrong with her $30,000. Meanwhile, according to what Tamika revealed, recently when LaTocha and their mother came to a family gathering and saw Tamika was already there dancing and having a good time, LaTocha and the mother turned around and left. Then in the verse, LaTocha talks about being split from her husband for 2 years, but somebody called Tamika and told her that they saw Rocky's car leaving from their house just the other day. And if that wasn't enough, LaTocha tried to say that the group kicked her out when we all saw how she was acting on that reality show. She was the one that didn't want to perform with them because she thought her solo gospel artist career was about to blow up. So she was as obstructive as possible, and then allegedly didn't show up to some shows. To top it off, she says that the media was tearing her down. No, that's called accountability. But apparently nowadays, if a person is in the wrong, as soon as you point out their bad behavior, they want to say you're tearing them down or being negative. LaTocha basically spent the whole verse trying to project vulnerability, only to end it with her true colors coming through and telling Tamika, yeah, they gonna talk about those residuals, before mean mugging the camera for all she was worth, which basically threw her whole victim narrative out the window, just like she did almost 2 years ago on that reality show.
Now, the first couple of episodes, Tamika Scott dropped the bombshell that her sister, LaTocha Scott, and LaTocha's husband, Rocky Bivens, allegedly stole over $30,000 in royalties from Tamika about 10 years ago. Now, when this aired, it immediately went viral. Social media took it. Their comments were going crazy, calling LaTocha thief, liar, run that girl her 30K back, all kinds of stuff. Now, the problem is LaTocha is currently promoting her gospel album, which is supposed to drop April 7th. So in the midst of promoting the gospel album, she is being called all kinds of thieves. Now, she goes on her media tour because she's already doing this for promoting the gospel album, so she's gonna fight back. She decides to basically call her sister a liar. She's deflecting. She's outright saying, I don't know what she's talking about. Never heard anything about this. Drop receipts. If it happened, show the receipts. So Tamika drops the receipts. Now the receipts show that someone went in the system, changed the address where Tamika was supposed to be getting royalty checks to LaTocha's address, where LaTocha was currently living with her and Tamika's mother. Now, not only did they have that, where the address was changed, they had LaTocha pretending to be Tamika's manager to basically legitimize this change of address, but the company that was sending the royalties out actually had copies of the canceled checks, which showed a third-party endorsement of Tamika's checks to Edward Bivens, who, of course, that's Rocky's name, his legal name, Edward Bivens. So that's a receipt. I mean, Tamika dropped the receipts. So then, after this happens, LaTocha decides to pivot from calling her sister an outright liar and, basically ridiculing Candy's singing voice, mocking Candy's crying all the time. She pivots from that. And instead, she tries to salvage something for her upcoming gospel album release. And she makes a video. She basically goes live on IG. And what was supposed to come across as remorseful basically seems completely self-serving. So she has the standard dismissive phrase of, if I did anything to hurt you, or if I did anything that made you feel like. She starts almost every apology off with, if I did this. So we already know that's denying any real acknowledgement of wrongdoing. It's not taking accountability for anything. It's not a real apology. So right there, that's apology out the window. She apologizes to Candy. She apologized to Tiny. She apologizes to Tamika. Apologizes to her mother with the, if I did anything. So, okay, whatever. Not a real apology. But the part that really kind of, I thought was terrible, was not only did she go on to make sure that we knew that she was the real victim in the situation, because you know what, how do we know she can handle all of the stuff that's coming at her on social media? How do we know that she can handle that mentally when she's basically just being held accountable for the things that she allegedly did wrong? So she makes herself out to be the victim, and then tries to blame Jesus by saying that all this came about just because she wanted to sing gospel music.
And a lot of the people that y'all know, I'm not even gonna say Christians or people, believers, y'all know when you say you want to do something for God and you just be attacked. It's hard, y'all.
Now, she's completely bypassing the fact that not only did we see her stank attitude in almost every scene, except the ones where it was just about her, but we also saw her shady behavior in the meeting with Motown Gospel, where she admits that she hasn't told anyone in Xscape that she was in negotiations for a solo project that was possibly going to affect the tour that they were on. Now, even Rocky knew this sounded bad, because in the clip, in that episode, he immediately throws up his hands and he says something like, I didn't know that. She didn't tell me that. Effectively throwing LaTocha under the bus, saying, oh yeah, I know this sounds shady. That wasn't me. That was all her. She didn't tell me she was doing that. But then we saw that when the ladies of SWV and Xscape actually sat down together for those initial meetings to decide if they wanted to do a tour together, LaTocha, who's the one who wants to sing gospel so she can inspire and encourage others, her demeanor through those meetings brought the whole tone down to the point where I think it was Coco from SWV. She was like, I need a drink. So as a Christian, where is the witness in driving somebody to drink because of your stank attitude that you have? Coming there, frown on the face, looking sour puss down in the mouth, all of that. And she is just being completely closed off from everyone. Everyone's having a good time, you know, trying to possibly put a tour together, and she's just looking like she doesn't want any part of it. Just, you know, poor mouth, everything just in her face. It's just a blank wall. Of course, everyone notices that. But those are the things that people saw on the actual reality show. And that's what they started talking about. They were talking about the fact that, you know, she allegedly took her sister's money. They were talking about the fact that she always had a bad attitude. They were talking about the fact that her walk wasn't lining up with her, you know, what she's saying she believes to everyone. No one was persecuting her for Jesus' sake and the gospel. They were holding her accountable for her unchristian-like behavior that she's been exhibiting all on that reality show. Not only that, it even gets worse, because then she goes on to say that as an aspiring gospel artist with a brand new album being released, she is currently an active and willing participant in adultery by claiming that she and her husband have an open relationship. Now, I know some people wanted to say, oh, maybe she meant as in like open communication. We openly communicate. We share each other. We tell each other everything. We share everything with us. No, she did not mean that. She states it twice that they are in an open relationship. She wanted to keep that private. You know, if y'all just sharing everything with each other, know each other's business, there's no reason to keep that private. But she said she wanted to keep private the fact that, you know, she and her husband are in an open relationship. So we all know what that means. But how are you going to be singing the gospel, but choosing to actively commit sin? The math just don't math. It's not mathing.
When someone trying to sell gospel music, but still choosing to stay in, they mess.
My husband and I, what y'all don't understand, we do have an open relationship.
Get somebody else to do it.
Now, here's the thing. I don't think anybody really believes that LaTocha is acting on the same freedom in her marriage that Rocky does. But the very fact that she would get in front of potentially millions of people that are, you know, people she can witness to, and she chose to justify sin so that she could try to make her husband look like less of a no good. I mean, that shows you who she really considers God in her life. You can't justify sin to exalt a man over God. So because she wants this man to look so good, she's gonna say, forget all what it says in the Bible, you know, to her audience that she's trying to reach through her gospel album. Forget all what the Bible says. You know, you want to keep your man, keep him happy. It's okay to do this right here. No, that is just not. That showed you, like I said, it showed you who she considers God in her life. And she even said it.
I'm not saying this to make it seem like, oh, he's everything, but he's everything to me and my family. He's everything to me and our son.
Now, the really sad thing about this is, if LaTocha is truly just covering for Rocky and was not a participant in any of the alleged thefts of the $30,000 from her sister or the alleged kickbacks from promoters booking Xscape, he's already shown how little regard he has for her by making her face the fallout from this and his alleged mistresses all on her own. And just as quickly as he tried to make himself look better in that meeting with Gospel Motown, where he denied any knowledge of LaTocha not telling the group that she was going for a solo album, just imagine how quickly he's gonna file for divorce if LaTocha can't clean the mud off her reputation, and if Xscape doesn't want her back in the group.
Let me know what you all think in the comments. Thanks for watching.